Today I will post about Genesis chapter 2. Finish the chapter 1. The chapter 2 will give us reasons to believe in God. Is this. And I hope you are so good and with a good and brilliant day in your life. Second chapter, we will start this chapter, okay? Genesis chapter 2, item 1. 1 until 8. Yes. God. The existence of God. Since God is the first cause of all things, the point of departure for everything, and the foundation upon which the edifice of creation rests, God is the subject that we must consider before anything else. Let me only make one thing. It's an elementary principle that a cause is judged by its effects, even when the cause is not seen. Let me see this. If a bird cutting through the air is hit by a fatal bullet, one may deduce the fact that a skillful shooter struck it, even if the shooter cannot be seen. Thus, it's not always necessary so have seen a thing in order to know that it exists. It's the same with electricity. It exists. We know by effect, but we don't need but the finger and touch electricity, because this would kill us, okay? That is not always necessary to have seen a thing in order to know that it exists. In everything observing the effects is how one arrives at understanding the causes. Another equally, and this report me to drugs. We are seeing effect of drugs. We can use to know what effect this have post use this, after use this. And still you are rich the effect of this will finish. We don't must use this to prove that we get it without after effects. Don't make this. Don't let other stimulate you to say, oh, you are an idiot. You don't prove drugs. You are a man without creativity. See how genius create all things without drugs. See how genius discover the law of cause and effect without drugs. See how a people that don't hear it create 9 symphony without drugs. No one justify you use something that will destruct you. And no one more is necessary beyond nature, beyond universe to believe in God. But Kardec will see this in scientific way. See how. Another equally elementary principle that has become an axiom due to its truthfulness is that every intelligent effect must have an intelligent cause by Newton's law. If we're to ask who the builder of a certain ingenious mechanism was, what would the person think of someone who answered that it had made itself? When a fine work of art or industry is observed, it is stated that it must have been the product of a person of genius, because an advanced intelligence must have presided over its conception. Thus, it's true that a human being must have made it, because it's known that the thing is not above human ability. But it would never occur to anyone to state that it was the product of the mind of a mentally impaired or an illiterate person, much less that it's the work of an animal or a product of chance. How to say about octopuses? Octopus have the ability to change in seconds, because he had billions of molecules that receive a command of instinct to protection this animal. Oh, you can say the animal, the nature product this. Yes, the nature product this animal. But who product intention of nature to protect this animal? Is this what we want to think about? For what? For what protect this animal? have an intention to protect this. Oh, he is important in balance of all structure of nature and ocean. Okay? Again, is a mechanic dot about nature. But why protect all nature with mechanism? To serve the man. And why protect all this and protect the man? Because man produced this. No, the man don't product this because man don't recognize all things of behavior of nature. Still scientists are studying this. This is other point to think about things. And not in only mechanism of universe. You will see this in this dot, logic dot, and line, logic line of mind from this scientist. Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivet. Okay? This book was the last book from Kardec. It have other, but is posthumous after his death. This was the last from 5 principal books that have an order, didactic order to you understand. When Kardec made this, they don't put more questions. This book will, he will use all his scientific knowledge by mathematics, biology, physics, and chemistry. Then we will see that is the dot that a human being must have made it, because it's now that things is not above human ability. Everywhere the presence of human beings is recognized by their works. The existence of antediluvian humans would not be proven solely by human fossils, but also, and with equal certainty, by the presence in the ground dating to that age of objects constructed by humans. A pottery sherd, a carved stone, a weapon, or a brick would be enough to attest to their presence. I have in my post on Instagram people that construct knives with a mineral knowledge is so resistant, how diamond, but was a translucent material, how knives constructed with form of a perfect knife, it don't would be constructed by a caveman. Because this material was so resistant to make a modulation in it. Was appear a material coming from other planet. If we will realize, and Kardec will say about it, in those times, after knowledge of science, after no, before, cause so much things in a cavern man was discovered after 1900 year, or century, 19th century. A pottery shared a covered stone, a weapon, or a brick would be enough to attest to their presence. By the crudeness of the perfection of a work, one will recognize the degree of intelligence and advancement of those who accomplish it. Thus, if you find yourself in a country inhabited exclusively by primitive peoples and you happen to find a statue that looks as if it had been made by a Phaedius, you would not hesitate to say that since those primitives are incapable of having made it, remember the cavern, that desire of the pictures of cavern, how perfect was the bull. You try to make a picture of a horse. I try it because I study to make pictures. It's not easy. No, the proportion of the body of a beautiful horse is not so easy. Then how cavern man can construct those bulls with those harmony appearing Picasso picture? Please. You would not hesitate to say that since those primitives are incapable of having made it, it must be work of an intelligence more freely developed than theirs. Of course. They said this in 1864, more or less, or 63, more or less. But he said this after his death, more or less around these years. Don't had so great discoveries in those times. And if had, was not divulgated how today, how 20th century. Well, then, looking around oneself at the words of nature, observing the foresight, the wisdom, and the harmony that preside over all things, one realizes that there is not one of them that doesn't surpass the highest reach of the human mind. If human beings could not have produced them, it's because they are the product of an intelligence superior to that of humility, superior of that of humanity, unless it were started that there are effects without a cause. Unless it were started that there are effects without a cause, then you will be against Newton, if you can prove this. Some might oppose this with the following argument. Such works of nature, some might oppose this with the following argument. Now, he will put arguments of minds that oppose these explanations for what God exists. Then these minds say the following. Such works of nature are the product of natural forces that act mechanically as a consequence of the laws of attraction, yes, and repulsion. The molecules of inert bodies come together and split apart under the imperative of these laws, yes. Plants sprout, blossom, grow, and multiply always in the same manner, each according to its own kind is virtue of those same laws. Yes. Each individual plant resembles the one from which it came. So good. Growth, flowering, fructification, and coloration depend on material causes such as heat, electricity, light, humidity, etc. So good. The same applies to animals. The heavenly bodies were formed by molecular attraction, yes, and continue to move in their orbits. Due the effect of our gravity, yes. This mechanical regularity is the use of natural forces, doesn't imply an independent intelligence, yes. Humans move their arm whenever they want to and however they want to. But a person who moved it in the same way from birth to death would be an automaton. Hence, the organic forces of nature are purely automatic. Yes, all of this is true. However, such forces are effects that must have a cause. And no one claims they comprise the divinity. They are material. No one claims, including then a scientist, they comprise the divinity. All this automaton, the organic forces, purely automatic. No one will claim this comprise the divinity. No one. They are material and mechanical, are laws of material things. They are not intelligent in and of themselves, and this is true also, but they are set in motion, distributed and suited to the needs of each thing by an intelligence that is not human. How I said octopus. Why octopus? Only if they are capable to transform his body in seconds. And human don't make this. Nothing with a good doctor from plastic, okay? Not a good, excellent genius of plastic can make with what octopus made in his body. No one, okay? Then, why octopus? don't transform it when human being put him in a, sorry, but it's this, put in a place to put fire in water and eat this. I never had eat this, please. But why not octopus create a way so marvelous that he created out of inner in ocean, wide out of ocean, they are so uh, incapable to this, so vulnerable, because they only have strong in his environment. Why? Principally me think, he would transform it in a monster with knives in place of tentacles. And no one would, and tentacles from diamonds or so hard material, and kill other. Before this happened, to finish this way, so rude, so futile. I desire to make this to an octopus, if I would. Grace of God, I don't would, because have an intention to protect this animal only in his environment, because they must be in there. They are so important to this environment they are inserted. And woman being must use love of cause and effect. Human being must use the choose to destruct or not this environment that is important to human being. Today we know this. Why we don't can destruct the ocean, marvelous ocean, I love ocean. Why we don't want destruct other environments, because we are right to choose. God gave us this, but God gave us conscience for one motive. If this is pain when we are going to destruct our conscience, say to us, we don't can choose, and here or not this, we can choose, but we don't can choose the effect of this. We will choose this. This will happen to us because we are intelligence in this planet, in top of this planet, and God give us conscious. Our light inside us that we can use or not, it depends. And all things we will destruct is our problem, not problem from God. Because the law of cause and effect will function. And we will choose all things we want, but receive again what we made, we don't will choose. We will receive, liking or not, fighting or don't fighting to don't receive it, we will receive. It's the law of cause and effect. Newton's law. Because this, you must take care with this law so much. Because this is in the Bible. Don't make to other what you don't make to other make to you. Is the law. Universal law. Don't have others laws, but this never will change. We must change to construct with this law. Contrary, what we will transform in a destruction person that sometimes construct, other times destruct, and never will understand this process in other high positions. Is this. See how scientific is this scientist, is this man. Continue. They are material and mechanical. All this process in nature, in universe, yes, because matter have laws. They are not intelligent in and of themselves, and this is true also, but they are set in motion, distributed and suited to the needs of each thing by an intelligence that is not human. The useful application of these forces is an intelligent effect, which indicates an intelligent cause. The useful application. Is this our point? How being humans that have an intelligence and logical dots. This useful application, put your focus in this, and you understand better. Nor geniuses, how Einstein said, oh, I discover absolutely all mysterious universe. They don't say this. Never. They said, have cause beyond, have things to discover beyond this. It's not all. Continue here. The useful application of this force is an intelligent effect, which indicates an intelligent cause. A clock moves with automatic regularity, and it is this regularity that makes it useful. The force that causes it to move is completely material and not at all intelligent. The force that causes it to move is completely material and not at all intelligent. But what would the clock be if an intelligence had not combined, calculated and distributed the force to make it move with precision? Is a question. What would the clock be if an intelligence had not combined, calculated, and distributed that force to make it move it with precision? From the fact that such intelligence is not inside the mechanism of the clock, and from the fact that we don't see, would be rational to conclude that intelligence doesn't exist. With this logical line, Kardec put so much people that think, oh, I'm a summity, I'm a great intelligence of this universe. Who, unfortunately, that think this way is not so great intelligence in this world, is not. Great genius perceive that they don't can go beyond certain knowledge. Is still because we are in a relative knowledge, have other planets where this genius is a normal intelligence, not a genius, how they are here. They come from other planets, so much in evolution, much high evolution, incarnated here. For us, they are genius. But they are normally intelligence. Is this we must apply our vision, apply to go researching, because we only will be superior in our mind when we will discover by our humanity, not spirits will be have to answers to our questions. No, forget this. We must study and discover it. And sometimes God will send geniuses to this planet. Sometimes. When it starts the moment, humanity must elevate it with knowledge. See this this internet knowledge. See this techniques, this evolution in internet, evolution in AIs. See this. This is the moment humanity have this. All moment of humanity gave a step. This will happen when God sends to this planet high intelligence to make this and to let us in evolution. We must study ever. We must work ever to mercy and evolution, intellectual evolution and moral evolution, changing our laws and protecting the vulnerable in this planet. When vulnerable in this planet suffering, will continue suffering, this planet never can name it humanity. Is this what the Spirit said? Is this? Then what work people that destruct here are making in this planet? But what would the clock be if an intelligence had not combined, calculated, and distributed that force to make it move with precision? I read this. The existence of the clock attests to the existence of a clockmaker. The ingenuousness of the mechanism attests to the clockmaker's intelligence and knowledge. The ingenuousness. When the clock gives you the information you need at the proper time, would anyone ever think to say? Now it's a very intelligent clock. The same applies to the mechanism of universe. Universe is The environment of universe is so intelligent. God per se does not appear, but is affirmed through God's works. God per se don't appear, but is affirmed through God's works, of course. The existence of God is therefore acquired not only through revelation, but also through the material evidence of the facts. Early peoples did not have a revelation. Early peoples, governments, did not have a revelation. Nevertheless, they instinctively believes in the existence of a superwoman power. For the effects they can observe and see how important this is, how I will read. They saw things that were above human abilities, without putting in account the giant animals that have a part of humanity were living. It's proved they were living with these great animals, giant animals. Only a bit part of humanity. In geological science, they prove have a bit of mankind during, I think, before time of ice in this planet. Before this ice time in this planet. Ice era. Before this appear, I said I read this in one place, I don't remember where, but have men that was surviving with great animals, giant animals. They saw things that were above human abilities, and from then concluded that such things must have come from a being superior to humanity. They, early peoples, governments, and other primitive intelligence saw things that were above human abilities, and from then conclude that such things must have from a being superior to humanity. Have people in that so strong living near the earth that have visions that we don't have. This don't turn these people unilluminated people, no, but if they, how to inferior spirits are not superior, only to can see other that we don't can see. People out of body, spirits, and so ignorant spirits can see more than us, because they don't have material to block it his vision how we have. Then we can manipulate us if we are, how then inferior. They will manipulate us. Then they are in a mountain, but they are not superior, because this, pay attention. They saw things that were above human abilities, and from then concluded that such things must have come from a being superior to humanity. The fact a people have an ability to see more than other material things is not can can be that these people are so intelligent or superior. It's an important point to think about. Okay, take care to have be manipulated only because a person are in a mountain and you in a plan. Is not you must respect the other. You will must need information of this, but only about what people are seeing, nothing more. Pay attention. They saw things that were above human abilities and from then conclude that such things must have come from a being superior to humanity. Were they not more logical that those who claimed that such things were made by themselves? Were they not more logical that those who claim that such things were made by themselves? Continue, the Eternate is from the divine nature. I will read only more this eating because I read this in Portuguese. And is the last eating I will read today. It's a bit eating. It's not given to human beings to probe the inner nature of God. It's not given to humans. The Spirit said this to Kardec because they said, you, humanity, don't have in those levels we are living of intelligence, we don't have vocabulary to us explain to you what is God. And I remember when I was studying Feng Shui, I was remitted to read a bit about Tao from Taoism, a religion. And in Tao, a Chinese religion, in Tao, they explain is the first creation, the Tao, the universe. And after this was a chaos. This is a perfect word to us. Understand God. Do you understand chaos? Is this? I think this is the work that don't explain nothing to us. But this is the unique work I saw until now to explain what is before the creation. Chaos is only this work I saw in my life to say about this situation that Kardec conclude. Remember, this book is a conclusion from other 4 books that contain all teachings from the spirits sent for millions of spirits and incarnated that arrived in Kardec, and he only, I say only, but was enormous work they made. They read all answers that they make and put in 5 books with logical dot in a didactic sequence. Kardec was disciple from a great didactic man in history of education in this planet, disciple from Pestalozzi. Then he would organize all this material. Marvelous work. Fantastic work. Then, continue here. It's not given to human beings to prove the inner nature of God. If you want a work to explain this, God is a cause from Taoism. This not God, but before creation, it's the cause. In Taoism, is this a good work to explain this? That the Spirit said Kardec. Don't have word in your planet to explain what is God. It's still to comprehend God, they still lack the sense that can be acquired only through the complete purification of the spirit. So much salt, so much sand, so much I think salt to eat. And no a bit centuries, no millions of centuries to us is still to complete purification. Because this I ever said in parentheses, be happy now. Don't wait for this purification, complete purification. No. However, if they cannot grasp the essence of God, God's existence giving us a premise, they can, by reasoning, arrive at the knowledge of God's necessary attributes, because God's existence gives us a premise. They can, by reasoning, arrive at the knowledge of God's necessary attributes, because in seeing what God cannot at all ceasing to be without ceasing to be God, they can arrive at what God must be. Is this our focus? What God must be? Without knowledge of the attributes of God, it will be impossible to comprehend the work of creation. Let me see something, because I have a number down of page that I don't know it's from what. And I don't read, not in Portuguese, and maybe I don't will read in English. I don't know where is this note. It's a bit noting down of page. Let me see. The section deals with the attributes. It's from here, but I don't see where. Yes, the divine nature. In the title of this, have a note. The section deals with the attributes of God, and as in our previous translations, as well as throughout this one, we have refrained from employing the masculine pronoun when referring to God, except in certain contexts, such as personal spirit communication, scripture, and historical quotes. According to the Spirit's book, second edition, number 1, God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things. In this sense, God per se is genderless. The grammatical structure of the present section might seem a bit awkward with the elimination of the masculine pronoun, but is in keeping with the context. Kardec is addressing the philosophical concept of God who is infinite in all God's attributes. To refer to God by using a masculine pronoun would thus put a limitation on the infinite of those attributes. God is beyond gender, and that is the point. A good note, an important note. God's. Not, no, don't think in it with a gender, masculine gender. Is this the note a point to this? God is beyond gender, and that is the point. God's is a bit a period Indian religion. Ganesha, Parvati, Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha. It's exemplification of God. The Father, Mother, and Son. In Indians, is this the image of God? Is a chaos. It's not. I don't get it in all strong, unifying this in all strong. I don't get it. Still, a day I will. God existence gives as a premise they can by reasoning arrive at the knowledge of God's necessary attributes, because in seeing what God cannot at all cease to be without ceasing to be God, they can arrive at what God must be. Without knowledge of the attributes, this is the focal. Without knowledge of attributes, it will be impossible to comprehend the work of creation. This is the point of departure for all religious beliefs, and for not having referred to them as the lighthouse that could guide them. Most religions have erred in their dogmas. Those that have not attributed omnipotence to God have imagined many gods. Those that have not attributed supreme godness to God make God out to be a jealous, angry, partial, and vindictive one. Vindictive. Oh, this is a word that I was searching in last days, vindictive. God ought to be a jealous, angry, partial, and vindictive one. Then, let me see, continue. No, I will stop here and explain that gods without real attributives, if don't know this, it's impossible to can perceive the great creation. And this is in Spirit's book, in first book, that named by spirits. This answer was gave to Kardec. For high spirits in all world, for various millions of people, millions of spirits, millions of people, the same answer in places that don't communicate each other. The point of centralization was Kardec with those review. This named Spiritist review, and have 12 books. In each book have all this collect from Kardec, from the world, the answers, they made to spirits. The spirits gave the answer through other mediums in all world, not one medium in one place. No, was a boon. God opened the door from heaven, and this heaven showed all this to Kardec. Was to a scientist, was the veracity from the spirits that they was given to him the truth. And other thing that this is truth was the acceptability in all world, those ideas. And don't that this work, don't that. Can be that in a place or in another, but world continue having this knowledge. Have these books translates from this book, not from Brazilians, no, from others that send this in Brazil, having Federation of Spiritism, various books in other languages, traducing those languages by people that have these languages. English, in French, and Spanish, and Germany, I saw. In this four, I don't remember more. I think have another language there. And have this in all world, this knowledge. This book, I don't know who translates it to French, because it was published in French. Kardec worked, talked in more or less 5 languages. I don't know if he let this translated. I don't know, translated. If before his death, I don't know if he made translations. I don't know. Let me only explain something, that those have not attributed omnipotence to God have imagined many gods. Those that have not attributed supreme goodness to God make God out to be a jealous, angry, partial, and vindictive one. Have a book from an American woman named Florence Sheen that write a book about statements from the Bible. And she said something so much interesting. She said, if you go in Bible and in Old Testament, you change the little word God to by the law, you will understand what are saying in the Bible real. And it's a true. I made this when I was reading, and I have one statement saying, the man must be afraid from the God. Then I changed the word God. The man be afraid the law of cause and effect. You must be afraid to you inside. If you don't control you, all around you control you. If you don't control your instincts and hear your conscience, if you don't afraid your conscience, you are lost. Is this we can conclude from Florence Sheen saying this, and you change it when are saying afraid to the law, afraid to the God, aggressive God. God is in the battle. Substitute this from the law of cause and effect. You understand so much better the Old Testament. Because the law of cause and effect is our conscience. Our conscience ever will show us we can choose. We can choose the right or wrong. Because when we choose something and this give us bad feeling, it's cause the law are in function, and we must have afraid of this. The law, because law are indicating, don't go for this view. Don't go, don't make this. And this will indicate to us the better way that will give us peace, tranquility. This is the light inside us. And this law of cause and effect let you choose. This, because this conscious we don't hear. I will choose, don't hear my conscience. What will happen? The things will happen, but the things I will receive. One thing, liking or not this, I will have return of this. I will have return of this in this life, in this moment, or another life, in another moment, because this will continue pulsing inside us. How alarm of a car, how alarm of a place, and inside us. This will continue pulse until we'll change our act of destruction, or until destruction came to us the same way we make with other. Because this is scientific. Don't make to other what to undo. Don't make to undo you to undo other. Undo, I don't know exactly this word. I will talk with my way. Don't make to other what you don't undo want other make to you. Is this the law? And 10 principal religions must be something important. And scientific, because Newton proved this. Don't have effect without a cause. If you don't concord with your conscience, change the law of Newton. Make this. I hope you don't try to make this. Don't lose your time making this. It's better follow the law. And then have a nice day, a brilliant and colorful and happiness day. Until the next.